Hi, my name is Lindsay Schumacher. I'm a psychologist and BCBA with the Clinical Department of Autism Society of North Carolina, and today I'll be talking to you about developing calming and coping strategies for your loved one. This is especially important now during the COVID-19 crisis, where unexpected changes in routine and structure may lead to increased anxiety and behavior concerns with our loved ones. Today, we're going to talk a little about identifying common stressors for individuals with autism and how we can teach replacement behaviors through teaching appropriate communication. Then we'll talk about how to design a safe space for your loved one within the home, how to identify and practice coping tools, and how to incorporate movement into daily routines. Some common stressors we often hear about are unstructured time and changes in routine. At school, unstructured time may be when the class is transitioning to a new activity, lining up, or waiting for the next activity to begin. During these times, children are typically not engaged with any materials or tasks and are waiting for the adult to give the next instruction. Waiting or being unclear of expectations may cause an increase in anxiety or negative behaviors. Typically, school is a predictable environment where your child can predict how each day will look, and the day-to-day routine is often the same. At home, we naturally see a little more flexibility and activities may differ from day to day. Currently, with social distancing and schools being out across the state, our loved ones are spending a lot more time at home. This likely means an increase in the amount of downtime or time that your child is not actively engaged in structured activities. It may also mean that your child is having to follow someone else's plan during the day, such as helping do chores around the house, participate in distance learning, or even spending more time with siblings, which requires flexibility and play. This new normal may exacerbate your child's typical level of anxiety, which may lead to an increase in challenging behavior at home. Our top priority is always to teach our loved ones how to communicate appropriately in order to get their needs met. While this often means teaching them how to request for the things they like, it may also mean teaching them how to communicate their feelings and emotional needs. Understanding our emotions is a complex skill that many young children and individuals with autism struggle with. One way to help teach your child how to communicate their emotions is to start labeling for them the emotion they are portraying. For example, if your child is frowning and stomping their feet, you can gently comment, "It looks like you feel frustrated." On the other hand, if your child is laughing and jumping up and down, you can comment that they look very silly and excited. This labeling of emotions will help them associate specific feelings, body movements, and sensations with the appropriate emotional state so that you may better communicate that to you in the future. Additionally, you can validate the emotion of your loved one by letting them know that you see how they feel and that it's okay. You are not necessarily agreeing with them or adjusting your plans or expectations, but you are acknowledging how they feel and that it is okay to feel that emotion. For example, if your child is upset and does not want to make their bed, you can state, "I see you feel frustrated. It's okay to feel that way." Then you can gently help them appropriately ask for what they need or help complete the task using a first then approach. Finally, you can also label your own emotions and talk through how you're going to cope with the situation. For example, if you're on the phone with the cable company negotiating your bill, when you get done, you can say, "I feel really frustrated about that call. I'm going to take a few deep breaths and count to 10 to help myself feel calm." Remember that when your child is in a heightened emotional state, they will have more difficulty communicating appropriately. During these times, you may model for them an appropriate response and help them find their words. For example, "It looks like you feel frustrated." You can say, "I need a break." Now we're going to talk about creating a safe space at home for your child to use when they feel frustrated or overwhelmed. It's important that this space is somewhere your child feels safe in and somewhere they want to go. We don't want this to be a punishing place or timeout. First, to get your child excited about it, have them help you create the space. This may include naming it something special and picking out what items will be in their safe space. Help your child select items that will be calming and easily accessible to them. Consider your child's sensory needs. What helps them feel calm? Do they enjoy squeezing items, cuddling soft things, or do they like deep pressure from a weighted blanket? Additionally, keep in mind your child's specific behavior when they become upset. If your child is prone to throwing objects, it would not be wise to keep sensory bottles or items with hard edges in the safe space. The key to any successful safe space or coping tool is to practice it when you're calm. Make going to the safe space part of your daily routine where you and your loved one can practice going there and engaging in calming activities together. When practicing, be sure to model having a calm body and calm tone of voice. You don't want to be silly, loud, or out of control in the safe space. You want to show your child what it feels like to be calm. By practicing going to this space on a regular basis and making it reinforcing for your child, you decrease the probability that they will view it as punishment and refuse to go there in times of crisis. Then, when you do need to use the safe space during times of frustration, gently lead your loved one to the safe space and help them use coping tools. These are a few examples of what a safe space may look like in your home. It can include items such as soft cushions and pillows, a fuzzy rug, books, stuffed animals, and even twinkle lights. When thinking of coping tools to teach your child, you may need to try a variety of strategies and observe what your child gravitates towards and prefers. We can help identify appropriate coping tools by asking our loved ones what makes them feel calm. Observe their behavior or demeanor during various calming activities to see if they have a calm body and voice, and observe their willingness to participate in the activity. For example, if your child doesn't like to color and refuses to engage in this activity when they are already calm, then you may want to select a different calming activity to practice. Once you've identified activities, it's important to practice them on a regular basis. I recommend practicing at least once a day for a few minutes. Think of this as a skill like riding a bike or learning how to play the piano. If you don't practice it, you won't be good at it. Listed here are some examples of calming techniques. Breathing is one of my favorite coping activities coping tools to teach because you can do it wherever you are. Some of the examples here include breathing activities from the conscious discipline program that schools sometimes utilize, such as balloon breathing or star breathing. You can also incorporate your loved one's interests into breathing practice, such as doing Minecraft block breathing. Activities like reading a story or coloring are also helpful options, especially for little ones, and should not be discounted. But try to at least have one calming tool you're working on that you could use in the middle of the Target parking lot to head off a meltdown if needed. Other options include daily practices of yoga or mindfulness, going for walks, journaling, using fidget items such as squeeze balls or pinwheels, or manipulating sensory items. The more tools you have, the better. Don't feel like you have to pick just one. Try out several and see if you and your loved one can build a coping skills toolbox. Here are examples of block breathing from Minecraft or different breathing techniques your child may be familiar with from their classroom. When you begin teaching your child how to use a coping tool, it's important to teach it through daily practice when they are already calm. Think of this as building up muscle memory, so when they're in a time of distress, their body will still know what to do. This also prevents coping tools from becoming something your child associates as only happening when they feel upset. If you only do it when they're upset, they will likely view it as punishment and will refuse to participate. Another way to support your loved one's use of coping tools is through modeling your own use of them. I often hear parents say that when it comes time to use their tools, their child refuses to do so and tells them it doesn't work. Very common. It's similar to if someone looked at you when you were very upset and told you to calm down. That never works. Instead, when your child is upset and doesn't independently use a coping tool, model for them how to use the tool you've been practicing by stating something like, "I'm feeling overwhelmed. I think I'm going to count to 10 to help me feel calm." A lot of the time, your child will join in because they also want to feel calm again. The trick is making it something they choose to do on their own and not something you're telling them they need to do. Keep in mind that learning how to handle our emotions is a difficult skill. Don't be discouraged if your child doesn't use their tools right away. Just keep practicing. Provide them with praise and support for their attempts at using coping tools, and let them know how proud you are when they try. Learning how to handle our emotions is something we all work on every day, so be sure to celebrate the small successes. Finally, we're going to talk about movement. Engaging in exercise and movement can be a helpful way in keeping our bodies regulated and feeling calm. Going for walks is an easy way to build in movement into your daily routine. You can go for walks around the yard or the neighborhood, or even incorporate a special activity such as a scavenger hunt or going on a bear hunt to look for different stuffed animals throughout the home. Additionally, yoga may help get your loved one engaged in calming movement and breathing techniques. Try looking online for free exercise videos, kids yoga videos, or on apps which may have free workout activities right now. Another kid favorite is having dance parties. You can listen to your loved one's favorite music and engage in choreographed dances or just bop around the house to get out some energy. Here's a list of resources to find exercise and movement videos for you and your child. Many of these sites are offering free content during the COVID-19 crisis, so you and your family can move and exercise for free at home. Lastly, we have some final thoughts for keeping everyone calm at home. Try to create some consistent daily routines that your loved one can count on. Even our kids who are laid back and go with the flow may be longing for some structure and familiarity during this time. Things like having a consistent morning or bedtime routine may be beneficial, or having scheduled daily activities like going for a walk or playing a game. Think of other ways to support your loved one in understanding what's going on from day to day. Things like having a written checklist of activities, using a first-then schedule, or having a visual menu of choices for activities they can engage in each day may be helpful. Finally, social stories that support introducing changes in routine or that explain new routines or events may also be helpful. Links to find examples of social stories and other supports are available in the next few slides. Overall, remember to try and remain calm and help your loved one through tough times. Try to give warning for transitions and changes in routine. And don't be afraid to ask for help from your spouse or other family members helping to care for your loved one. Sometimes the best thing you can do is ask for someone else to take over so you can have a break. Finally, remember to be patient and have compassion for both your loved one and yourself. We're all trying our best to handle our emotions and stay calm. Be sure to check out the Autism Society of North Carolina's COVID-19 website for additional information and resources, including emergency assistance and assistance with obtaining essential items such as food and housing. Social narratives regarding the coronavirus, school cancellations, and social distancing can be found at the Autism Society of North Carolina's COVID-19 website. Additional information and resources for supporting individuals with autism can also be found through the UNC Chapel Hill toolkit at the provided web address. Information regarding the coronavirus and its impact in North Carolina may be found at the Centers for Disease Control and the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope this information helps you in supporting your loved one with developing coping tools and a more calming daily routine.